Okay, it's Bob Frizzell for the Reality Game, and we're going to remind you that as things become more and more strange in our world, we just want to let you know how strange things are getting. Most people don't really believe in telepathy. And what is the physics of telepathy? I don't think anyone really understands. Someone says it's scalar waves. Well, we heard about scalar waves on the internet, and we still really don't understand anything about it. We've heard that from James Redfield's books, one of his books, he talked about thought amplification devices. So, if you want to have your thoughts manifest in reality, or you want to boost your thoughts so you can talk by telepathy, you just have to get a thought amplification device. Where do you get one? I haven't seen one at Walmart, but maybe it's coming soon. But Redfield talked about this, I don't know, let's say 15 years ago. Where did he get it from? Was he tied in with the CIA or the military? Or was he talking to an angel? I don't know. Anyways, I've not seen one, but it's been talked about. This was also talked about in ancient civilization of Atlantis. Now, as you all will know, Atlantis was an island in the Atlantic Ocean, possibly the Mediterranean, but most likely it was in the Atlantic Ocean. And there was a great civilization there, that it was very high tech as us, perhaps even more advanced. And Atlantis collapsed. What happened? Well, they think there was massive earthquakes, and the island of Atlantis sunk into the ocean and disappeared forever. There are some strange things in the Atlantic Ocean. If you go off the coast of the Bahamas, there are, looks like man-made stone objects way underwater. South America is full of very strange stone objects. Like deep in the jungle or out in the desert. There's Nazca lines in the desert. Way up in the mountains and in the jungle, there are stone things put together, and the stone is cut. Looks like it was cut by lasers. The stone fits together so perfectly. You wouldn't be able to do it with just a metal saw. You'd have to have some kind of very high-tech thing like a laser or some kind of a technology. We've seen a technology where they use very high-pressure water to cut stone. But anyway, something so that there is no gap at all between one stone and another. So clearly there was high-tech things in past civilizations, which tends to make us believe that Atlantis could have very well existed. And the mythology of Atlantis that came to us from Ascended Master Sananda is that Atlantis fell as a civilization, and perhaps actually fell, when it collapsed into the ocean, due to what was known as abuse of power. Sananda said, not too much more, but from other sources we pieced together that perhaps it was David Wilcock, the commentator and author. The thought is that the people who were in Atlantis reincarnated and reincarnated and reincarnated and reincarnated over and over and over again on Earth since the time of Atlantis. And lo and behold, the people who are incarnated today, in other words, you and I, and everyone else around here, we, or many of us, were from this civilization of Atlantis thousands of years ago. And here we are again, where civilization has become very high-tech. And apparently, according to James Redfield, we have these thought amplification devices. And we've got satellites that are doing all kinds of things. We've got these smartphones. We've got incredible military gadgets, a lot of them that are still secret from us. And we're running into the same problem that we did in Atlantis. That is lack of wisdom in using technologies. Seemed to be very easy to get scientists and give them a lot of money in labs to build incredible gadgets, but they can be used still for abuse of power. In other words, turning people into slaves, torturing people, killing people. So what have we learned since the time of Atlantis thousands of years ago? And after, I don't know how many incarnations people have had since Atlantis to try and raise their consciousness so that they have more wisdom, it still appears to me that we're going to run into the same problem that we did in Atlantis. That is abuse of power, which means pretty much our civilization is doomed. It's very sad to say, but looking around, that's all I can figure. Abuse of power is still a problem. Can you get away from this problem by ascending to a higher dimension? No. There's a lot of people that talk about this great awakening or this ascension, harvest time. Even Sananda says harvest time. But I've seen no evidence that anyone is ascending into another dimension. A lot of people are acting really the only word that comes up is weird. People are acting really weird, as if, this great ascension is going to happen. To ascending where? Going up where? I mean, up there? That's like the sky. Are you going to ascend up there? No. The metaphysical writer that I talk about from time to time, the late Stuart Wilde, said that if you're going to change dimensions, you don't go up. He said what you do is you got to go sideways. Thank you, Stuart. That's as kooky as the other people that want to ascend this way. Go this way. There's nothing there, Stuart. If I go sideways, it's like, the end of the patio in the backyard. There's nothing there. But that's what he said. And, he had quite a following, being an author, enormous following before he kicked the bucket. And, he used to talk about going to what he called the Luna, which was another kind of place that he talked about. And somebody says, is it like a place you go where you sleep? No, he was wide awake, or he was in a meditative state, but he said he could walk through walls, and if you went to one of his gigs and paid him a lot of money, he could help you walk through walls. Why do I bring these up? Just because they're fascinating, it's just like, I've got to do something different than the same old boring thing that you find on Netflix, and so I want to talk about cuckoo things, and I know I keep talking about the same cuckoo things, mostly because it really doesn't get any more kookier than walking through walls and going to other dimensions and ascending. I mean, they got that idea from ascending from Stargate, the different Stargate Atlantis and Stargate this, that, the next thing. And our producer, Chief Clancy Wiggum from The Simpsons, wants to remind you all that yours truly, not when I was Bob Frizzell, it was just, I was just Bob, and I was an extra in Vancouver. And I did work on Stargate, some of the different Stargates, as an extra. And, well, you see me, probably won't even see me in the show, but I do recall spending some time on set there. So what else do we want to talk about? Clancy wants to remind you that The Simpsons is a comedy show. Don't take it seriously. And he wants me to remind all of you, sometimes we get really strange characters, and our characters talk about oddball stuff that's going on with them. And Clancy wants to remind you that my name is Bob, and I'm a comic. In other words, I do off-the-wall things that are like, you're supposed to watch it and go, I don't know if I'm supposed to laugh, but it's definitely, comedy. It's off the wall. Also say it's face out. In other words, you get your face out there. And if you don't laugh, doesn't mean I'm not a comic. It just means it wasn't funny. And, you know, that's the problem with comics, is if we don't make you laugh, then you get the hook and you say, get off the stage. Nevertheless, I still make new pieces every day because that's what I do. Bob Frizzell is back for the reality game, and he's the producer of the reality game. And Chief Clancy Wiggum of The Simpsons is also on this channel now as a producer. He pretty much doesn't know how to produce, and we learned today that he doesn't know how to spell. No, he doesn't know how to spell. But he really loves to sit in the producer's chair, and if he could gather up all the other chairs, in other words, if he could be the director and the continuity person, and if he could work in the what do you call that? It's the food truck. He'd work there. He just loves to work. He likes to be seen, and he likes to be the boss, but he doesn't know how to read, so he's got to have an assistant to spell things for him. He wants to remind all of you that this being a comedy channel, the clown on The Simpsons, he can't remember the name of the clown of The Simpsons, and neither can I. But that clown, Bart Simpson's always involved with that clown, and he wants to talk about clown culture. But I'm going to have to make a new video for clown culture because I'm already at 12 minutes, and we try and keep these under 15 minutes so they'll fit on Instagram TV. No more topics are coming up. Clancy thinks I stepped in some ketchup because I got ketchup on my shoe. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Just been out by the food truck. I'm Bob Frizzell for the reality game. Please subscribe and share. And again, remember, it's a comedy channel, so please don't take us too seriously. We don't take ourselves seriously. And serious. That's what Clancy likes to say. Seriously. And more to come.